There's been a lot of changes over the past 2 weeks to this park, and I am gonna take you through them one by one. It's been a lot. Oh boy, it's a long one.
Welcome to another day of viewing on public access television. We hope you enjoy today's programming.
So, just a bit of an editor's note before we actually jump in. It's a long video, and the first part of me going through the entire park, I recorded it with my new microphone, and I didn't realize I'm kind of clipping the microphone sometimes. I'm very sorry. I will adjust it for next time, but yeah, this is a very long update, so I'm like, I don't want to go back and re-record it, so it's fine. It's just the footage is a little bit weird. Alright, so I am gonna start at the beginning, which I've heard is a very good place to start. The hotel now has a bit of an entrance, has a bit of like some character to it that I hope will kind of come across. I was kind of going for like a Hotel California, for like a
Beverly Hills Hotel
vibe, so we'll see more of that when I get into the park, but there's also a lot of things I did outside the park. One of the major things is actually a new tunnel. It's maybe not like, you know, regulation or whatever, but like these trucks are the biggest ones we have in the game right now and they fit fine. So yay, right? It's something. On this side, to kind of cover Aqualand, I made a very small berm so you don't really see the buildings. And on the other side, it looks like that. It's just, you know, some shrubbery. So, but this actually means that like maybe I can even put like a restaurant back here for Aqualand. You know, like there is this little plot here, and I can build above this and add a thing, an entrance here. It's a thought. So maybe there'll be an Aqualand expansion. I don't know. Potentially, probably not. But like it's there. It could be. Back to the main street. Yeah, a lot of changes. I have the hotel pretty much laid out how I want it. I have like two separate wings almost. I have like this half, which is like the entrance part, and then I have like this part, which is kind of like the
Beverly Hills Hotel
part, which looks just like the
Beverly Hills Hotel
ish. Well, I say just like, but these scrolls aren't really on it. It's not this decorative. Look at that. It looks just like the album cover, just like that road that goes to the Beverly Hills Hotel. Nice. So, there have been a lot of changes on the main street. One of the major ones is this whole side has been changed quite a bit. We got Chump's department store, which is unfinished, but you kind of get what I want to do with it. There's like a vision. So actually I changed the whole main street just so I could get this one angle. So I mean that's very special to me. We have this really beautiful facade made by Dutchy here on YouTube. I love the use of these Viking pieces. It just looks so cool. I even made some new lampposts for this little area. I am actually going to go this way before I show you my projects, because that'll take a bit longer. Over here, we have some behind these trees. I might remove these trees. We have a beautiful facade by Miss Barber here on YouTube, a really good friend of mine. She used arms. Those are arms from the myth statue. That's nuts. Her brain is crazy. And she even built a second one over here with this beautiful stained glass window and all these really, really neat details. These will have interiors, I believe, eventually, because we are getting the souvenir update next month. So I'm kind of prepping for that, and I will show you Another thing made by Mrs. Barber over here. So, this was an idea by Mrs. Barber, and she made the most amazing little mural of Aqualand. Isn't that, it's crazy. I don't even know how does her brain work like this. It's incredible. And she wants to update this for every single land. I'm like, oh, all right, if that's what you want to do. I love it so much. I'm like, it's a lot of effort. You don't have to if you don't want to. But she gifted this, and I think it is going to be a really cool little park icon. And then if I turn this way, this is now our automat. So I changed it a little bit. It's not finished on the inside yet, because I'm just, waiting for interiors and all that. And, well, I say waiting for interiors, I'm just waiting for, the motivation, I think, because once we get that souvenir update, it's going to be, all interiors all the time, so. But we have this cool little chandelier in here for the automat, and then I go through here, and this is going to be, it might be too long. I might move this and shift it to over here, but this is going to be based off of the Brown Derby at Hollywood Studios, well, and Hollywood itself, actual Hollywood. And then this is going to be, I think I'm going to turn it this way and maybe have two of them, so then I can fit some more tables in here, and then I can kind of disguise it as the vending machine type automat things that you see. So yeah, and then I did some work on these stores over here. Mine the glass, it changed a little bit, and I haven't gone through and fixed everything yet. But we have a Hats Fantastic and a whole new little facade. There was that mythology building that was sitting here, but I changed it to this, which I think is pretty neat. So this is a Hats Fantastic. It seems very large on the inside, but it's actually a very small building. But yeah, once we get the souvenir update, this will be full of hats and all kinds of things, and I'm thinking maybe a boat hanging from the ceiling with lights on the boat, maybe. I don't know, because it is aqua themed in here with the rivets and the color scheme, and Hats Fantastic. So I don't know, but over here there's gonna be an archway, and all it's gonna be trimmed up a little bit better. This is the other store. There's not a name for it yet, but it's just a very small little store, and I did something kind of weird with the floor, but I kind of like it. I just copied it for the ceiling, so. And this is Hats Fantastic, so it might change, but I wanted to keep it similar because they do have the same-ish products in these two things. So the door is right there. There might be awnings, I'm not entirely sure yet. We have Dutchie's little aquatique, and then this is a little kind of Carthay circle, but kind of not really. I'm not really sure. It's very large. I'm standing in the fountain. This is temporary. I'm not sure I'm gonna keep it. But and this thing is now a hot dog squad because I have the little seating over here. So yeah, I'm probably gonna change this building though. It has some good details, but it's not. It doesn't match those. Not yet. Over here, I've added a small Sodalightful, which is great. This is actually on the workshop. I will link to it in the description. It's a really, really neat little build. So I thought it fit really well over here. And yeah, you still can't see, much of Aqualand, which I love. And it just feels really, it just feels like a really cool park, honestly. So, but the majority of the work, I would say, went over here. This is, it's a lot. So this is going to be the entrance to the Sci-fi and Western area. But actually, before we get to that, I did a little courtyard. So you can kind of get an idea. Because, you have a view of that tower. And I'm like, well, it's Spanish. We should do a little Spanish courtyard. So that's what this is going to be. A little Spanish courtyard in between all the shops. So it's going to kind of be like the Court of Angels at Disneyland. But, you know, it's not closed for Club 33 people only, because, you know, that's kind of dumb. This is going to be a couple more facades for some more shops, and then you round the corner. This is going to be a little Epic Universe type kiosk. A couple of them, actually. And there's lots of seating in here. There's lots of benches, lots of places to just sit and relax and just look at things. And there's the chair swing, which I relocated over here. And there is a path going up. There's stairs in the middle and 2 ramps going up on the sides. And you go up here, and this is the western area. Which is pretty neat. Yeah, there's trains and... yeah. So I'll get to that in a minute, but I relocated the chair swing over here, which is pretty cool. So you can kind of see it, and you can like walk and just kind of look at it with the castle in the background, which I think is kind of really cool. So you do, you know, have the little train. I'm gonna like put some rocks here and some plants so it's less, you know, obvious and loud maybe. And this is gonna be an Art Deco restaurant over here overlooking the water, which is gonna be really neat. And then this is Adam's Landing, which I did a little bit of work on just to kind of get an idea of what I kind of want to happen over here. So I really want there to be a spaceport when you first walk in. So I made a little ship. I think I'm gonna call it like the Solar Flare or something like that. So I like it. It's interesting. So it's not that detailed, but the pieces are fairly good at, you know, making the piece count not so crazy. This is just like a prototype of like the round spaceport-ness of it all, and I made this little guy too. It's supposed to be like a racing thing, and it's like an X-wing, but like also not. Wait, that's not in the middle. Okay, I used like a rotating platform and I mirrored everything, so I don't think it mirrored correctly. That is Adam's Landing so far with the castle in the background. Don't worry about that. Alright, so there were a lot of changes that happened in the Mythopolis area, which is very exciting, and please mind the lag. My computer is struggling with this park now. I'm actually not going to hit play because he starts to sing, and I do have the music muted, but it's not muted for some reason. I don't know why. But I added some more trees, some more bigger trees. That's probably not a good place for that branch, considering that there's fire right there, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so where to start? I don't actually know. I'm going to start over here. So the view of this area is kind of more blocked by the tree. We have some more facades on this area, some little shops and things, some little village facades. So I'll work on those the same time I work on the other ones. And this is going to be a big restaurant. It was going to just be like a hall with like a bunch of tables and things. So nothing too crazy. And that still needs to be themed, but I added some wood onto those things and some wings, which is pretty neat. Over here, this has a full queue now, actually, so that's pretty exciting. And this goes to Fantasyland, and I will maybe get to that in this video, maybe not. There's a lot to get to in this video. But yeah, this part's not finished yet, but the entire thing is like a labyrinth, because that makes sense, right? There are areas like this where it's a little bit open so that you don't get too claustrophobic, but yeah, it's like there's so many twists and turns and all kinds of weird angles. You don't really know what's going on and where you are. So you're like, oh, some pots, okay. And there's like a wider hallway. And there's like even like another little pen that you gotta like, you know, go around and whatever. And you go around this corner, and I think it's finally over. And it's not. Oh, there we go. Yep, it is. That's the ride. It's a very long queue. I just thought it was kind of funny. And then you exit on this side. And this is, of course, the ancient gift shop, which every ride had. Of course, like the Palace of Knossos had a gift shop. Everyone knows that. It's just a fact of life. Everyone, you know, the archaeology records show it. So, yeah. Then you exit here. There's no doors yet, but there will be. And then up here, I did a lot of work on the coaster and some path layouts. So there's no longer a path going straight up, which I think looks a little bit better. Oh, it's going. There's the coaster. I did some rock work. I will zoom out and show you some more of that. But, oh, is it launching? No. But yeah, this is the other side of the bay, which is pretty neat. So you get a really clear view of the castle, which, you know, it's fine. It's right there. You can't really hide it. But if you go up these stairs, or I'm actually going to go up the ramp. So if you go up the little ramp, well, you do get a pretty good view of the. Is one going to come out? No. Okay. Great. Perfect timing. If you go up this little ramp, you can see that the coaster is now blocked in with walls. And I have little floating statues to remind myself that this is a Medusa ride. And there are very holy bathrooms. So this area needed some more restrooms, so I just kind of put them in temporarily. But yeah, this is going to be a big box with the coaster in it. Not really sure how to theme it, because it is inside, but you know, I'll figure that out. But it is a finished coaster now, so that's something. And there is like a drop thingy over there, which is pretty neat. The frame rate is dying right now. It's fine, but it launches you a second time, and there you go, to escape Medusa. So and then she's like, ah, she's there again, and then. Yeah, I think it'll be a pretty cool ride. Up here, I did change a little bit. This area, I mean, a little bit. I added a restaurant, which is fun. And you can get a really cool view of the coaster going past. You can just kind of sit here and look at this tangle of track. it's a lot. And I have like this little round bit where you get like that view of the coaster when it goes past. So. Oh, it launched. Okay. And then it goes underneath and it comes up. No, oh, I don't know my own coaster. And then it goes down. There we go. I know my own coaster. It's fine. So yeah, you just get some really cool views of the coaster going past. I like it. And then this is the amphitheater. I'm going to add some trees and things over here so it's kind of more like shady and like cozy, I guess. So it's less... it feels less like you're in a bunch of concrete and metal. So, like right here is a great place for like a big tree. But I do like how this ride is just kind of like sitting here, like over everything, because there was just like a big blank space I didn't know what to do with. So I'm glad that I could fit this thing in. But this is a better view of the coaster and the crazy queue that I'm working on, because I realized with the log flume that yeah, long queues are actually.
It's so simple! Only 10 words! What I learned in boating school is blankety, blank!
Oh, I fell into the queue. Okay, well, long queues are...
What I learned in boating school is... What I learned in boating school is... I can do this!
I don't know. I want to work on longer queues because my queues are just bad. So I think this would be a really cool place to do that.
You pass! You pass!
So yeah, that is Mythopolis. There's some more space over here for some shops and things along the water. Some more rocks and things going in place over here. This is a better view of the rock work for the coaster and kind of the idea that I'm trying to do with like the fake grass and all that stuff, so it looks more kind of cartoony. This is it's a very large building with this coaster, and I haven't completely filled it in yet with the rocks, again, because I'm still trying to build it and figure out how to theme it, if I'm gonna theme it. There's just a big hole to the sky underneath that, but it's fine for now. And then this area I did a lot of work on, actually. This is the log flume. I added some more rocks. I added this little area up here, actually, which is pretty cool. It's gonna attach up there. I'm just not really sure how yet. I got some little grapevines. I have this guy pouring the water from, into there. It comes out of nowhere. And you're like, what? So, and it feels like you're really in somewhere else when you're over here, because that's Aqualand over there. You really can't see it. This is very unfinished, but I still worked on it, so I'm going to show you guys. This is going to be like a cave, I'm going to say. And then this wall, there's like a big hotel over there. So this is, it's a mess right now, but it'll be all sorted out and all that when I do actually eventually finish this queue in the ride. And you can see a big screen over there. So that is the other thing I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I did some work on the inside of this thing. I thought a screen there would be a really good idea, and then I realized that when you go down that massive slide, this massive drop here, there's so much water you don't see anything. So that screen is kind of wasted right there. So I might take it out, but this is the underworld. Well, at least that is the underworld. So, but yeah, and I do really like this queue and how right here you do pass really close to the boats, and the boats are empty because that's the unload and this is the load. So they're just from here, they're just there's no one in them. It's kind of creepy. I like that. There are a couple more things I'm going to quickly go over just because I added them and I might as well talk about them. I added this little chair lift to connect up the hotels over here, because it doesn't really make sense to have buses because they're so close. However, like a Skyliner type situation does make more sense. So these two hotels are going to share this one station, and then this hotel that's going to be over here, I might move this so it's closer to the road, but they can just walk to the park. It's not that far. So, but yeah. I've also done some work on the western area, which I'll be covering this in another video because I want to keep the western stuff for now, but yeah, it's a lot. I'm not sure the layout is 100% what I'm going to keep it, but you can kind of get an idea of what I want to do. So, and I did do a little prototype of some layering and some little rock spire. So it was harder than I thought, and it only looks good from one angle, so don't look at the back. Not yet. So, but yeah, this is going to be a more intense Big Thunder Mountain that's kind of like Everest in a way. Like this is the first drop. I probably should have saved it for later in the ride, but you know what? I just wanted to make sure that I had an idea of what I wanted. So, and I might be changing this further because I realized this is the unload, but this is a great spot for the entire queue and all kinds of nature and things in here. So I might change that to the queue and the load area, and the unload can be, I don't know, this can be the load, and maybe the unload could be over here. I'm gonna have to work with it a little bit to figure it all out. This is a very complicated area because I have all kinds of paths that are that are mostly temporary for right now. This queue is going to kind of be tucked against these big rocks, which is going to be interesting. And this is all trying to block out what is going to be the sci-fi area. So, I need to make sure that when you're up here, you don't just see sci-fi stuff, which you probably will. But I think some rocks will try to, not make that so obvious. I hope. But yeah, for now that's that. And then if I jump over here, the Fantasyland had a bit of an update to it. So I realized when I was pathing this out that from this angle you can see Mount Olympus just over there. So I put in some fake rocks, and I'm going to continue it along, but I think that looks pretty cool. And I think having like some Bavarian roofs and things along here will be, you know, pretty cool. And then you have like the mountain behind it. So, and then I really want this little river like running through, which is supposed to connect up to this thing, but it doesn't. And then I want there to be like a little grist mill over here. So, and then these are from the workshop. I'm not sure I'm going to use them, but I do want like a Viking outpost on this side, and then maybe like a Seven Dwarfs mine train on this side. I did block out a ton of space for the Fantasyland, with plenty of spaces for smaller dark rides and all kinds of stuff. So this is going to be a project, and we do get the new theme next month. So it's gonna be a lot. But yeah. That's the update. This is a very long update. Okay, I will see you in the time lapse.